Good morning, students. In the previous session, that is section 5 and 6, we studied about the traditional methods of performance appraisal. Now, in the session 7, we are going to study about the methods of performance appraisal, that too modern methods of performance appraisal. I am Dr. Sudarshan P, Assistant Professor of Commerce, Government First Aid College, Beltangadi, here before you to present this topic. So as I said, for our convenience purpose, we are dividing the methods of performance appraisal into two. One is traditional method and another one is modern method. In the last sessions, I told you about the traditional methods and all the 11 points that I have covered, right? In the coming sessions, that's the in this session, I will take up modern methods of performance appraisal. Again, it is a broader area, so I will discuss some points here, and in the next session, I will take up the same topic. Modern methods or behavioral appraisal methods of performance appraisal. First of all, we will look into the meaning of it. Modern methods are also known as behavioral appraisal and result methods. Behavioral appraisal and result methods. These methods of appraisals place more emphasis on the evaluation of work results. So they are all considered as important methods on the evaluation of work results, that is job achievements than the personal rights. In the traditional method, we considered personal rights, right? Here, not only personal rights, we are looking into the job achievement by work results. Work results. There are some sub methods in that also. Under that first one, management by objectives, MBO. It is one of the technique of modern methods of performance appraisal. MBO is a technique wherein both superior and subordinates sit together and they decide about the objectives to be achieved, right? Here, MBO help us to have a measurement of one's performance according to the objective set. Second one is human resource accounting method. Human resource accounting method, a newer method which is being introduced in the performance appraisal system or method. Next, we will look into these two methods in details. Under that, management by objective. We will look into the meaning of that. The concept of management by objectives, or MBO in the abbreviation form, was first given by Peter Drucker, philosopher in management, Peter Drucker, in 1954. So here Peter Drucker, the in proposition I is missed. Sorry for that. Peter F. Drucker in 1954. It is a process. So MBO is a process whereby subordinates and superiors come together to identify and set the common goals to be achieved and the standards to be taken as criteria for measurement of their performance and contribution, as well as to decide the course of action to be followed. So we studied in BU also about the meaning of MBO. MBO is a process or management process wherein the subordinates and the superior or their superiors come together to set the common goals, identify and set the common goals to be achieved, and the standards to be taken as the criteria for measurement. So that itself can be taken as criteria for measurement of actual performance of their performance and the contribution, as well as to decide the course of action, what can be done next. First both superior and subordinate sit together, they developed a common goal, and after that they set the measurement system of the same, and ultimately they are measuring it. What is the deviation? What course of action can be taken or to be followed so that the deviation can be corrected. So it is actually results based performance appraisal. Modern methods are normally results based performance appraisal than personal employees or employees personal traits. Next, features of management by objectives. What are the features of management by objectives as one of the technique of modern technique of performance appraisal? Under at point A, superior subordinate participation. MBO management of by objectives. Very term says managing by having objectives. Management by objectives requires the superior and subordinate to recognize that the development of objectives is a joint project or activity. Development of a objective is not one-sided, it is a joint project or activity. They must be jointly agreed between the superior and subordinate and write out their duties and areas of responsibility in their respective jobs. So once you commonly decide the goal of the task or job, then you are going to write the duties and the responsibility of that respective job. Okay, that's why that is the first feature of MBO, superior subordinate participation. Point B, joint goal setting. MBO emphasizes on joint goal setting that are tangible, verifiable, measurable, right? Like smart, specific, measurable, related, and timely. Objectives are fixed under MBO. The subordinate, in consultation with his superior, sets his own short-term goals. So subordinate sets the goals, not superior sometimes. He sets the short-term goals for his work in consultation with his superior. However, it is examined both by superior and subordinate that goals are realistic and attainable. So, it is examined both by superior and subordinate that goals are realistic and attainable. So, they will check it. So, set by subordinate but verified and accepted by both superior and subordinate by considering it realistic aspect and attainable chances. ಓಕೆ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಗೋಲ್ ಸೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬೈ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಇಬ್ಬರು ಸುಪೀರಿಯರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸಬಾರ್ಡಿನೇಟ್ಗಳು ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡು ಸಾಧಿಸಬೇಕಾದ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಉದ್ದೇಶವನ್ನ ಗೊತ್ತುಪಡಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಥವಾ ನಿಗದಿಪಡಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಆನಂತರ ಅದರತ್ತ ಕಾರ್ಯವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಪೀರಿಯರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸಬಾರ್ಡಿನೇಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಲಕ್ಷಣ ಇದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಗೋಲ್ ಸೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್, ಇಬ್ರು ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡು ಜಾಬ್ ಸೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಗೋಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸಬಾರ್ಡಿನೇಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅದನ್ನ ವೆರಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸುಪೀರಿಯರ್, ಅಟೈನೇಬಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ರಿಯಲಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ. ಎಸ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ 3, ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಆನ್ ಮೆಥಡಾಲಜಿ. MBO focus special attention on what must be accomplished or what goals should be achieved rather than how it is to be accomplished. How ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮೆಥಡ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ವಾಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೋಲ್ಸ್, rather than how it is to be accomplished. The superior and subordinate mutually devise the methodology. First they will give special attention or focus on the accomplishment of goal, and for that both superior and subordinate mutually devise a methodology to be followed in the attainment of such objectives decided by them or determined by them jointly, right? So joint decision on methodology is considered in case of MBO. It is another feature of MBO. Next, makes a way makes way to attain maximum result. MBO is a system management by objectives is a systematic and rational technique that allows management to attain maximum results from available resources by focusing on attainable goals. So maximum results by using available resources by focusing on attainable goals is the theme of MBO, or makes way to attain maximum result. It permits a lot of freedom to subordinate, either to make use of resources or make use of ideas, etc. Subordinate to make a creative decision on his own. This motivates subordinates to do better, subordinates, and ensure good performance from them. So, when initiatives are taken by subordinate himself regarding the methodology of the achievement of the goal, then he or she will put his or her maximum effort to achieve the same. So, it motivates them. It motivates such a subordinate. So, MBO is the best way, right, by making way to attain maximum result. Next point, support from superior. When the subordinate makes efforts to achieve his goals, subordinates make efforts to achieve his goals, superior superior's helping hand is always available. So subordinate is taking initiative and superior is extending his help for the accomplishment of that goal. The superior acts as a coach or facilitator and provides his valuable advice and guidance to the subordinate. Instead of criticism, instead of negative comments, what superior is also doing, superior is act as a coach and provides his valuable advice and guidance to the subordinates to complete the or to achieve the goal. This is how MBO facilitates effective communication between the superior and subordinates in the organization for achieving the objectives or targets of the organization, which is set by both the superior and the subordinate. So, ಈ ತರ MBO ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬೈ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಇಬ್ಬರ ನಡುವೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸುಪೀರಿಯರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸಬಾರ್ಡಿನೇಟ್ ನಡುವೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ರೀತಿಯ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡುವ ಮೂಲಕ ಏನು ಅವರು ಕಾಮನ್ ಗೋಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದರನ್ನ ಈಡೇರಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಕೊಡುಗೆಯನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತದೆ, ಈವನ್ ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನ ಕಲ್ಪಿಸ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಸುಪೀರಿಯರ್. Next, steps in management by objectives. First one, goal setting. What are the steps involved in management by objectives? Actually, it is coming under modern methods of performance appraisal, but this topic can be asked separately for section B. Explain about management by objectives. Therefore, we have to focus a little more on the same. So, goal setting. The first phase in the MBO process is to management by objective process is to define the organizational objectives. These are determined by the top level management and usually in consultation with other managers. So it is the duty of the top level management to decide the organizational objectives. Once these goals are established by them, they should be make known to all the members. They should make known to all members. Such goals should be communicated to all members. In setting objectives, it is necessary to identify key result areas, KRA, key result areas where we have to focus more, key areas which will give more benefits or more harm to the organization. Therefore, such key areas are to be taken care of. Therefore, key result areas are to be identified while deciding the organizational objectives by the top level management. That is the first step, goal setting. Point B, manager subordinate involvement. After the organizational goals are set by or defined by the top level management, the subordinates work with the managers to determine their individual goals. Overall goals, then individual goals are to be decided or determined by the subordinates with in consultation with their managers. In this way, everyone gets involved in the goal setting. So, from the top to bottom level, all people are involving in the process of goal setting. Once you involve them in the process of goal setting, then definitely they involve in the achievement or attainment of goals. Point C, matching goals and resources. Management must ensure that subordinates are provided with the necessary tools and implements or materials to achieve these goals. So, to achieve the goal set by or common goal set by superior and subordinate, the necessary tools and materials or equipments are to be given to the employees to achieve such goals. Allocation of resources should also be done in consultation with the subordinates. While allocating resources needed for the attainment of that objective, which is fixed both by the superior and subordinate, then allocation of resources also done in consultation with the subordinates. You have to ask some points with the subordinates about the allocation of resources. So matching goals and resources. Next one, D, implementation of plan. So plan is developed by both superior and subordinate, and then you have to implement that plan. After objectives are established and resources are allotted, ಉದ್ದೇಶವನ್ನ ಗುರುತಿಸಿದ್ರಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಂಪತ್ತನ್ನ ಹಂಚಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ ಆ ಉದ್ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ, ದ ಸಬಾರ್ಡಿನೇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ದ ಪ್ಲಾನ್. ಸೊ ಆಗ ಕೆಳ ಹಂತದ ನೌಕರ ಏನಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅವನು ಆ ಒಂದು ಯೋಜನೆಯನ್ನು ಅನುಷ್ಠಾನಗೊಳಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. If any guidance or clarification is required, they can contact their superiors. So whenever performing or implementing that plan, if there is if there is any chaos or confusion arised, or clarification needed or guidance is needed, then they have to contact or consult their superiors. So that is called the implementation of plan. Implementation is done by the subordinate himself. Next point E, review and appraisal of performance. This step involves periodic review of progress between the manager and subordinates. How much it has been accomplished and what is the lacking area. So this is to be evaluated continuously. Such a review would determine if the progress is satisfactory or the subordinate is facing some problems. It helps us to understand whether performance is done satisfactorily or is there any problems relating to the implementation of that plan. Performance appraisal at these reviews should be conducted based on fair and measurable standards. So here also we have to go for performance appraisal by taking plan and its implementation, right? So it should be also based on fair and measurable standards. It means it should be done on quantitative basis and not merely qualitative basis or result based. It should be result based appraisal. Okay. Next modern first one I said, next that is MBO. Next one is human resource accounting method. It is known to everyone that human resources are most valuable assets of the organization for every organization. So in this method, it is tried to find out the relative worth these assets in terms of money. So we are going to measure the worth of human beings in terms of money or profit generated in the company. Here the performance of employees is judged by comparing the cost like their compensation, recruitment and selection cost, induction and training cost, etc. Incurred on them and the contribution of each employee or contribution the employees made in terms of the total value added. So monetary terms, how much being added by these employees on which certain cost is incurred. So cost and benefit analysis is made by having techniques of human resource accounting. So we are going to measure the total amount spent and the total value added to the organization by our workforce or human resources in the organization. Okay, we will continue the same topic in another session also. For this time, I stop this discussion. Thank you for being with me.